Imagine growing up on a small Caribbean island, far from the towering skyscrapers of New York or the glittering runways of Paris, and daring to believe you could one day conquer both music and business on a global scale. That was the audacity of a young girl named Robin Rihanna Fenty, born in St. Michael, Barbados, in 1988. From the start, Rihanna's life was shaped by both hardship and resilience. Her childhood was far from easy. Her father struggled with addiction, and the family often lived under the weight of instability. But within those difficult circumstances, Rihanna discovered two things that would change her future forever: her voice and her relentless determination. Even as a child, she would sing constantly, practicing in her bedroom or performing for her friends at school. She idolized Caribbean stars like Bob Marley, but also looked beyond the island, devouring American pop and R&B. She knew her destiny lay outside Barbados. What she didn't know was how quickly it would all begin. At just 15 years old, fate intervened. A mutual friend introduced her to Evan Rogers, a music producer visiting the island. He was stunned by her natural talent and stage presence, describing her as unforgettable even in that first audition. Within months, Rihanna was on a plane to the United States recording demos in New York. It was a bold move for a teenager, leaving her home and family behind, but she had always believed her dreams were bigger than the island could contain. Her big break came when her demo landed in the hands of Jay-Z, then the president of Def Jam Recordings. Legend has it that after hearing her sing, Jay-Z insisted on signing her immediately, unwilling to let her leave the building without a deal. In 2005, at just 17 years old, Rihanna released her debut single, Ponder Replay. The song was a global hit, blending Caribbean rhythms with pop hooks that dominated charts worldwide. Almost overnight, Rihanna went from a teenager in Barbados to an international star. The hits kept coming. Albums like Good Girl Gone Bad, Rated R and Loud produced era-defining anthems. Umbrella, Only Girl in the World, Diamonds, and countless others. Each song expanded her identity, from pop princess to edgy fashion icon to cultural powerhouse. Rihanna wasn't just another singer, she was a brand in the making. With every red carpet look, every daring music video, every reinvention of her image, she was building something larger than fame. She was building influence. But behind the glitter and the Grammys, Rihanna had a keen sense of strategy. Even in the height of her music career, she was thinking beyond the stage. She watched how artists could burn out, how money could disappear, and how fame without ownership left many vulnerable. Rihanna wasn't going to let that happen. Music gave her a platform, but she understood it couldn't be the whole foundation of her future. Her first experiments in fashion gave the world a glimpse of what was to come. In 2011, she launched her first fragrance, Rebel Fleur, which was an instant commercial success. It wasn't just another celebrity perfume, it was the start of Rihanna realizing the power of attaching her name to products she truly believed in. She collaborated with brands like Puma, turning their struggling sneaker line into a global hit with her Fenty Puma creepers. Each partnership taught her more about design, branding, and the mechanics of consumer demand. She wasn't just a face for hire, she was learning how to build an empire. Then came the boldest move of her career, the launch of Fenty Beauty in 2017. Partnering with luxury giant LVMH, Rihanna introduced a makeup brand that would shake the beauty industry to its core. From the beginning, Fenty Beauty wasn't about celebrity glamour, it was about inclusivity. At launch, the brand offered 40 different foundation shades, a radical departure from the limited ranges offered by most established beauty companies. For millions of women of color who had been ignored by mainstream makeup brands, this was more than a product, it was recognition. The impact was immediate, stores sold out, social media exploded with praise. Fenty Beauty generated over $100 million in sales within its first few weeks, and by the end of its first year, it had crossed the $550 million mark. Rihanna had done what few celebrities had achieved. She had created a business that stood on its own, not reliant solely on her fame. She had found a gap in the market and filled it with authenticity. What made Fenty Beauty revolutionary wasn't just the product range, but the philosophy. Rihanna's slogan, Beauty for All, wasn't a tagline, it was a mission. Campaigns featured models of every skin tone, size, and background. The brand didn't just sell makeup, it sold empowerment, telling women that they were seen, valued, and beautiful in their own skin. In one move, Rihanna had transformed from pop star to business mogul, but she didn't stop there. The following year, she launched Savage X Fenty, a lingerie brand designed to challenge industry norms in the same way Fenty Beauty had. Traditional lingerie marketing was dominated by unrealistic ideals and exclusivity. Savage X Fenty broke the mold by celebrating body positivity, diversity, and inclusivity. Its fashion shows, streamed globally, featured models of all shapes, sizes, and genders, as well as performances that blended music, culture, and fashion into unforgettable spectacles. Once again, Rihanna wasn't just creating products, she was creating movements. Savage X Fenty's success proved that she understood consumer culture better than most executives in boardrooms. By aligning her businesses with values like inclusivity and authenticity, she turned her brands into cultural forces. Her partnership with LVMH also extended into high fashion. In 2019, she became the first black woman to lead a luxury fashion house under the LVMH umbrella, launching Fenty, her own high-end clothing line. Though the brand eventually paused operations, the move was historic, cementing her status as a pioneer in the global fashion industry. Rihanna wasn't afraid to take risks, and even when ventures didn't last, they added to her reputation as a trailblazer, willing to challenge the status quo. By the early 2020s, Rihanna had achieved what many thought impossible. According to Forbes, the majority of her wealth came not from music, but from her stake in Fenty Beauty, valued at billions, and her ownership in Savage X Fenty. She had officially joined the ranks of billionaires, becoming the wealthiest female musician in the world. Her fortune wasn't the result of endless tours or record sales. It was the product of strategic ownership, business vision, and an unshakable belief in building her own empire. What's most remarkable about Rihanna's story is how she managed to balance her identities. She is a singer, an actress, a fashion icon, and a philanthropist. Through her Clara Lionel Foundation, she has donated millions to causes ranging from education to disaster relief. She has proven that building an empire doesn't mean losing touch with your roots. Despite her wealth and influence, she continues to proudly represent Barbados, even being named the nation's national hero in 2021. Today, Rihanna's influence stretches far beyond music. She has redefined what it means to be a modern entrepreneur, showing that celebrity can be a springboard for something much greater. Her empire is built on values, diversity, inclusivity, authenticity, and those values resonate deeply in a world craving representation. From a teenager in Barbados chasing a dream, to a global superstar, and now a billionaire CEO, Rihanna's journey is one of vision and courage. She didn't just ride the wave of fame, she used it to create something lasting. Music may have been her entry point, but business became her empire. Rihanna is more than an artist. She is a mogul, a pioneer, and an architect of her own destiny. And in building the Fenty empire, she has shown an entire generation that success isn't just about talent, it's about ownership, strategy, and never being afraid to rewrite the rules.